Hello, today we have James Foster, the Chief Executive Officer of Virax Biolabs Group Ltd, trading on the Nasdaq under the ticker VRAX. James, welcome back.
Great to be back, Craig.
James, you recently published a shareholder update following your fiscal 2026 annual report. Can you give investors the high-level message? Where is Virax today compared with where it was a year ago?
Sure. I think the main message we want investors to hear is that Virax is fundamentally in a stronger and more focused position than it was a year ago. We've strengthened our balance sheet, we've regained Nasdaq compliance, we've advanced development of our IVD ViraxImmune, and we've established commercial relationships with a company called Fosun Diagnostics for ImmuneSelect. So we have now two areas of focus. The first, running ImmuneSelect opportunities into orders and revenue. The second is advancing ViraxImmune through clinical validation and regulatory development. So the next phase for us is about disciplined execution and delivering measurable milestones for shareholders.
Now, James, that fiscal 2026 annual report showed cash of 6.4 million and the company subsequently completed an additional financing. How important was strengthening the balance sheet?
Strengthening the balance sheet was incredibly important for us because it gives us greater flexibility to execute our strategy. At the end of March, we showed we had roughly $6.5 million in cash. We subsequently raised approximately 3.3 million. And so that capital will support the continued development of ViraxImmune, and it'll also help us pursue the commercial opportunities for ImmuneSelect. So we remain very conscious of financial discipline, and our objective really is to direct that capital towards activities that can complete clear clinical, regulatory, commercial progress, and ultimately create value for our shareholders.
You recently announced a commercial supply agreement with Fosun Diagnostics. Why is this strategically important for Virax?
So the focus and agreement is important because it gives us a practical route to commercialize ImmuneSelect. And this is through an established diagnostics organization with significant regional reach across Asia. The agreement covers 6 Southeast Asian markets. The initial focus is on tuberculosis-related research. So our immediate objective is to support a successful product evaluation and commercial supply, and then work towards revenue and potential expansion into other regional markets in that area. It's an important first step, but the key now is execution. We need to turn that commercial framework into tangible results.
James, can you explain the difference between ImmuneSelect and ViraxImmune and why investors should view them as complementary opportunities?
So ImmuneSelect and ViraxImmune are different programs under our umbrella. Both are built around our expertise in measuring T-cell immune responses. ImmuneSelect is our research use only product portfolio. It includes ELISpot plates, peptide pools, and related immune research products. And it provides a nearer term opportunity to generate orders and revenue. ViraxImmune is our in-development diagnostic platform, and that's initially focused on post-acute infection syndromes, including long COVID. So in simple terms, ImmuneSelect, a nearer-term commercial opportunity. ViraxImmune represents a larger, longer-term clinical diagnostic opportunity.
Now, ViraxImmune, as you said, is focused initially on post-acute infection syndromes. What are the next major clinical and regulatory milestones investors should be watching?
So the key priority for ViraxImmune is completing our clinical validation work and generating evidence needed to support discussions with regulators around the world. We are initially focused on post-acute infection syndromes, as you said. That includes long COVID, where there remains a significant clinical need for more objective tools to assess immune dysfunction. So what are the important milestones as we progress clinical validation, the generation of meaningful data, and further definition of regulatory and market entry pathways, including the US? We're taking a disciplined approach, as I said, because strong clinical evidence is essential to the program's future regulatory and commercial value.
Nasdaq compliance. It recently has been restored. What does that mean for the company going forward?
Regaining compliance was an important milestone, but I would say that Nasdaq compliance is just a foundation for us, not the ultimate objective. The objective for us is to build value through execution. That means advancing ViraxImmune. It means turning ImmuneSelect opportunities into revenue, developing strategic partnership, and maintaining financial discipline. So we now need to use the stronger corporate position we have to establish to deliver the commercial, clinical, and regulatory progress that shareholders expect from us.
Looking ahead, James, over the next 12 months, what are the key catalysts that shareholders should be focused on?
So there's three key catalysts that shareholders should be watching. The first is our commercial execution. So it's turning that Fosun Diagnostics agreement and others into ImmuneSelect opportunities, and then turning that into revenue, purchase orders, and so on. The second is watching ViraxImmune, that IVD development, the progress into clinical validation, generating data, advancing that regulatory and market entry pathway. And the third would be strategic partnering. So it's developing relationships, accelerate commercial adoption, clinical development, or access to those important markets. I think the key message for shareholders to take away is that we now have several potential value drivers. Over the coming months and quarters, shareholders should look for the evidence that we are converting those opportunities into revenue, into clinical data, and into regulatory progress.
James, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you.